Here we go.
Broadcasting live and worldwide. Here's Brody Brazil.
How about that for an intro? I've decided that I need a little something to get me going at the start of these streams. So I just brought out the old podcast intro and played it for you right there. I didn't come up with that special. I didn't make anything up. It's as simple as that. I already had it in the can, but I'm here on a Thursday night. A's baseball was earlier today. I was actually off and getting ready for this weekend series against the Giants. Battle of the Bay. How about that? No, excuse me. Bay Bridge Series. We're branding it as that. That's probably the better name for it anyway. But most importantly, beyond anything else, let me make sure I don't splash here all over my important and expensive equipment. We're drinking an IPA tonight. This is a Maui Wowie from Altamont Beer Works. Single IPA. Could have went with a double tonight. Had one in the fridge. Decided to play it responsible. I got to be up relatively early tomorrow. Do some dad stuff. And then go to work all night and all weekend. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy this, but I'm also looking forward to your questions and comments. I might even open up the phone line. It might go there at some point. I know that was popular the last couple live streams, so I guess I'd be stupid not to do it again. Before I dive too deeper into anything else, if you're just seeing this channel for the first time, who's this guy? What's he doing here? Consider subscribing. I'll hope to earn that from you at some point in this live stream. At the very least, if you like this video at the end, thumbs up. That'll help other people see it. Here on YouTube, I intend to have some friendly back and forth, some conversation. If it's relevant to you, I'll give you my best answer. And if it's relevant and appropriate, I'll give it my best answer. But honestly, I'll go wherever it goes here tonight on the live stream. I also want to show you a couple different things here that I was looking at right before the live stream began. Give me 1 second here. And yeah, I'll show you this. This is alertwildfire.org. I've been watching this all day, and now that it's during the night hours, clearly you're not going to be able to see as much, but fire's burning out of control, out of hand right now in the Sierras, obviously up in the northern California region. Let me show you this right here because this is actually a pretty cool technology. In the last 12 hours, you can go back on this and see a time lapse. Now, there's not much to see. This is from the Big Hill webcam, and if I take myself off here, you can see that this is just southwest of Lake Tahoe. Pretty smoky. Then the camera moves, and you can kind of get an idea of, visibility throughout the day. It's pretty bad. It improves a little bit in the afternoon, and then eventually this camera is going to lock in, and you can also see the time right here, about 2 o'clock. And yeah, you can see it on my computer screen up here. I am a 24-hour time guy. It's on all my clocks. That's how I operate. But now it's starting to get 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Visibility got better. Now it's getting bad again. Look at those mountains. You can barely make them out in the distance. Getting better again. So the wind changing direction. It's 6 o'clock. Shadows moving in. Eventually we're going to get sunset. And eventually you're going to see, I believe this camera moves again here to reveal. Now there's a fire burning over there. Clearly you can see that smoke. It zooms in on that. And that's what we're looking at right now. And that's going to bring us to the live picture eventually as it catches up here. 9:30, almost 10 o'clock here in California. And these cameras, like I said, are cooler in daytime just because you can utilize them. Now, they're not live streams. They're just images. But they're important. And PG&E provides a lot of them. But it's important to see these fires, how they develop, where they're at. This gives a much better lay of the land. And look how many cameras there are. This is kind of just a different view, almost pointing at where the other camera was before, at what, Big Hill? Is that what it was called? But look how many cameras they have here. I mean, this is just, it's impressive, and unfortunately, it's so necessary right now to have this. But I kind of check this out and get a grip on where things are at, what's happening in our state. Yeah, it's tremendously unfortunate that we have to go through this every August, September, October, and it's twofold. it's twofold about the smoke because in the Bay Area where maybe fires are not affecting us directly, smoke is an inconvenience. It's a terrible thing. It's not healthy to breathe, clearly. And then when it lasts and persists for days and then weeks and then like a full month, what was it, November of 2018? Literally the entire month, we were smoked out in the Bay Area. Not healthy, not fun. You're trapped indoors. It was also an unfortunate precursor to a pandemic. But all that established, I mean, when your home is lost or your business is lost or something significant to your community is lost actually in a fire, it's hard to complain about smoke for an extended period of time. Does that make sense? It's the bigger picture. And so I'm actually pretty sensitive and I'm pretty cautious about complaining too much about smoke. Like I said, it's dangerous, it's unhealthy, but consider the alternative, like the fire's not in your backyard. When it is in your backyard, then I think you have more of a place to truly be impacted and upset by things. So I should probably take a look and not be rude here and see what's going on with the live chat, shouldn't I? Oh, jeez. I've already screwed up the live stream. Brazil, come on. All right, now let's dive into it here. Vince, cheers. Cheers to you too. Thanks for being here on the live stream. It is local. Altamont Brewery. Altamont Beer Works, Livermore, California, right by the Altamont Pass. Thomas, what's up? Canna, Uber Alice. I agree with you on that. Let's go Oakland. Doug, thanks for that. I did a live stream earlier on the, what do you call when somebody get eviction? I did a video on the eviction of the Arizona Coyotes. Glendale is saying, get out of the Gila River Arena after this season. It's crazy. Check that out on my channel. About 12 minutes of thoughts and insights, and I thought it all came together as best as possible. There's a lot going on there. And I also think that my ultimate hope for them, it still remains to stay in Arizona, and I'll explain why in that video. What's happening? Well, Glendale says enough of these late payments. We think we can do better without 41 NHL home dates. Good luck. Don't open the phone line. Lots of boring people get through the phone line. I don't know if they would agree with that. We'll see. We'll see how the live chat goes. If I have enough time, if the situation is right. And I know a lot of you, by the way, have been watching the Sharks prospect scrimmage. Is it over? I was earlier just scrolling for updates. I know a lot of people got to see some of the top names and top hopefuls together on the ice at the same time. That's pretty cool. Happy Thursday, Phil. Same thing to you. Yeah, here you go. Jack is going there. All the future Sharks. I don't know how many years away we are from seeing these names, honestly. Are we 2 years? Are we 3 years? 4 years? I don't think this year. For all of them, I'm saying. Maybe next year for some of them. I don't know. Salty Ricky, cheers to you too. Hey, and that's a very nice compliment. You're loving where the channel's going. I mean, I've always had ideas. I think what it is, I'm now with a little bit of growth on the channel, I'm now actually just getting to the ideas a little bit more and actually executing on them. So, cheers to you too, Salty Ricky. Roshio? I'm so sorry. I know I must be getting the name wrong, and I apologize. This is like my worst fear when I don't know how to say it, or even if I'm pretty sure but not 100%. So I apologize for the pronunciation. I'm doing great. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate that. Irving, I did not watch the Sharks prospect scrimmage. Just was getting updates. Glad to see that it went off and that it was live streamed for everybody to experience it. Actually, I know people would rather be there in person, but this is the next best thing, and it makes a lot of sense. And actually, more people might have caught bits and pieces of this instead of fewer people saying, I'm going to commit my whole evening, going to it. Again, nothing replaces being there in person. I would rather have had that for people, but what they did with it was pretty cool. Red skies in 2020. I absolutely, wait, in 2021, you mean? Oh, you're saying maybe it was like the red skies of 2020. We're coming up on that date. It was early September last year, that the red sky, or the orange sky day. What a trip. Samuel, how's it going? You know what? Unless you're going to be in our studio, I don't think it's possible for you to buy me a beer. We'll be broadcasting from our studios. All the baseball games in Oakland will be broadcast from our studios in San Francisco. So apologize that I will not be out there at the Coliseum. Do you think we can steal Marte for at least a 1-year deal? I'll tell you what. Starling Marte has done everything and then some so far. The catches, the offense, the swiping of bags, the just swag factor in general. Like he looks confident. He brings confidence without even doing anything, and he does stuff. But my point is his presence alone brings something to the table. Nonetheless, everything else he's doing. Now, let's also look back on how important the acquisition was. You didn't know at that time you were going to lose Ramon Laureano for the rest of the season. You weren't going to have a center fielder necessarily. I mean, Canna played there last year admirably. But now Starling Marte, you have a Gold Glove center fielder. You have a 2-hitter in your lineup. You have a guy that is getting on base at an outstanding clip, hitting above 300, which he's continued this year. And I think what's most amazing about Starling Marte, to be very honest and blunt, and he's a professional, right? Been in the league for, basically a decade, but he's never played in the American League before this, which I get it. You're like, well, yeah, but he's played interleague, so that counts. It's not that big a deal, but going from one coast to another, going from one league to another, and continuing what he was doing with the Marlins this season, I know going back the day you realized it's going to be Luzardo for Marte, that was a lot back then, and it still is. But Starling Marte has done, like I said before, everything and then some. And to your point, Ruben, you bring up the great question here, which I'm sorry I've danced around a little bit. Let me get to it. I think it's going to be tough. I mean, he is almost playing his way into a huge next contract somewhere. And I don't know if the A's are in the position to do that here and now. And it's almost like if he had played pedestrian up to this point, giving you enough. Okay, that was a good trade. The problem is it's been a great trade because of how he's played, how he's sparked this team. Almost to the point where he's playing his way out of the possibility of something happening in Oakland next year. And I don't fault him one bit. I didn't really want to bring this up ever on TV, but you look at him right now, and of course he knows he's a free agent this offseason. He is playing for that next contract. It's not like he would not put forth a great effort in seasons prior. That's not the case. It's just that anybody who works under a contract knows that you really want to seal the deal when it's the final year of your term. So, Ruben, I am hopeful. I know you're asking because you're hopeful too. I am. I think he's a perfect fit. I mean, literally, with Laureano on this team as a right fielder, like what a luxury of riches that is. If you could have Marte in center and Laureano in right, and I certainly hope Mark Canha in left field. But then again, you're talking about next year, you've got to re-sign a guy like Mark Canha. He also will be a free agent. So there's a lot to it. I'm trying not to rule it out. We knew what this was. This was a rental to begin with. The problem is it's been such a good rental, you want to rent to own. I understand it. Starling Marte has been phenomenal. Honestly, I'll conclude it with this. Best deadline pickup by the A's in the last 20 years? Probably. All right, let's move on. I don't want to take up too much time there. But I also take a lot of these clips and answering really good questions. I make them into their own videos. Do I golf? Murph, describe what you mean by do I golf? Like, what is golfing? Is golfing going out there acting like an idiot, making a ton of excuses, not being able to find your ball, so I just take another ball out of the bag and throw it on the fairway and hit from there, give myself a couple drives off the tee if the first one didn't work, curse a lot, try and hide in the shade because I don't want to get sunburn. So here's the real answer to your question. I've tried a few times. I actually I took a couple lessons, and I was at the driving range a bunch and played a few rounds, and right before I became a father. And a lot of you know who've been in this situation. Once you cross over into dad territory, especially at first, free time, opportunity, especially while you're working in a baseball season, it goes away. So I got into it, and then just as quickly as I got into it, I got right back out of it. And that's not to say that I didn't enjoy it. I was frustrated. And I'm the type that I like to have enough success as I go early in something to keep me motivated. Who doesn't, right? Like you don't want to stink at something. Try it and stink at it, and then try some more and still stink at it. And then months later realize, why am I doing this? I'm not getting any better. But in reality, you are. And I had a few tastes of it, drive the ball straight. I love bringing my camera out there to the driving range, like or even just put the camera on my phone in slow-mo mode and really get a sense of what that ball's doing, how my swing looks. Golfers in this day and age are so lucky to have all of the ball flight tracking. I see it. My brother-in-law, father-in-law, they have the tools to do it. Dontrell Willis, who shows it on his Instagram feed, on his IG stories all the time. It's awesome. It's so cool to have all, and I love that tech, and I want to get into it. I honestly haven't had the time. And the problem is, sorry, I'm ranting on this. The problem is I've had so many people who want to take me out and like, hey, let's go. I'll schedule it. And at this point, here's the other thing. At this point, if I go out with them, I'm going to hold them back. I'm going to embarrass them. I'm going to embarrass myself. It's just, I'm talking about, not even being able to drive one straight down the fairway. It's shanked right. It's pulled left. Trying to chip out of the, out of the sand, and it's ugly. I really wish I didn't grow up with it. I'm trying to pick it up here at around 40 years old. So it'd be nice. It'd be a nice hobby someday, but unfortunately, I can't. I have clubs. They're in the garage, and I like them, and I like going out. And it's a great time. You could have a beverage while you do it, but man, I stink at it. So I don't even want to disgrace golf by saying that I play it. All right, let's continue. John, off topic. Why has St. Louis stuck in mediocrity for years? John, I am so sorry. I don't know if you're talking about the St. Louis Cardinals. The St. Louis Blues won the Stanley Cup a couple years ago. The year they eliminated the Sharks. The year that in January of that season, January of 19, they had the worst record in the NHL. Worst record in the NHL. And then they go on to win the Cup that summer. And you know what? The NHL has had two amazing Stanley Cup stories in recent years. One of them is that. The other one is that the Las Vegas Golden Knights, in their first year of existence 5 years ago, they're celebrating their 5th year, so I guess 4. But if an NFL team was an expansion club and went to the Super Bowl their first year, you would still be hearing about that. The Golden Knights went to the Stanley Cup final their very first year. And I'm not getting any pleasure in telling you this or reminding you of this, but you understand my point. Like, that was a big deal. And it's not hardly at all talked about. It was kind of like, hey, it's a story. All right, then we move on. That's it. Then they lost. Still, to me, I can't understand it. But John, I guess maybe if you're saying like, why did St. Louis not like win another cup? Why didn't they do a Tampa, win back to back? I don't know. I think they were also kind of aged out a little bit. They were not the youngest of teams. Like, they weren't on the up and up. They were a group of veterans that won now, and then they went through some changes. And I don't know that I know much more than anybody else. I appreciate you on the Super Chat. As I always say here, all of this goes to improving the channel. You guys saw the live stream, maybe I did the other night, from the studio. More of those to come, by the way, as I expand a little bit in equipment and possibilities. I'm so sorry. Let me go back up here to the live chat. Thomas, have I been to the Sonoma Raceway? Absolutely. I've done a couple hot laps. That road course up there it's intense. You pull a little bit of You pull some G's around the corners if your car's fast enough and your driver's good enough. Puts you really in the back of your seat. It's awesome. I've seen NHRA drag racing there, and I went to one of the NASCAR events there over the years. But I've done a lot more of the practice day stuff and the setup to it. But it's cool up there, and I love Sonoma too. When you have a slice of pizza, do you fold it or eat it regular? And what's your favorite brewing company? Well, let's get to the latter first. I mean, Altamont's up there. Also a huge fieldwork guy. Danville Brewing, close to where I live. Look, I love the local stuff, and I know I'm missing out a few. I know in San Leandro, Drake's. Look, I could go on and on here, and I know I'm going to exclude some, but I prefer to drink Northern California beer first, or California beer in general first, if possible, and then I'll kind of go west to east. I'll dip into the Sierras. I'll dip into Colorado. So I don't know, something about it. I don't know if it's fresher or what, but I just like to support as many breweries as possible. Ruben, you always look forward to the live streams. I really do appreciate that. Does pineapple belong on pizza? I don't think so, but I will still, depending on what else is on that pizza, pineapple's not going to stop me from eating it, right? So if I like the way the pizza looks, and I like most of the things that's on there, and there's pineapple, I don't care. I'm still eating it if I'm hungry. If I'm not hungry, I'll probably look at it and say, pineapple. I mean, and you could take them off. That's the other thing. How big a deal is this? If you really don't like pineapple, honestly, in 5 seconds, I could take off all the pineapple from pizza. So people make that a huge deal. It's not. I pick mushrooms off pizza all the time. I know, people are going to hate to hear that. I do not like mushrooms. Why would I want fungus on my pizza? Why would I want anchovies or fungus on my pizza? I don't. So I take them off on a regular basis. No second guessing about that. Let's continue here. Brash John, do you enjoy both baseball and hockey work, or would you prefer to specialize? No, I love them both. And I love the fact that, how do I say this? It's draining because I don't have an off season. I mean, the 3 months of October, November, and December of 2020 where I didn't have anything going on, I had not had 3 months off, and I wasn't really off. I hadn't had that in 12 years, my last 12 years. Went from baseball back to hockey, to baseball to hockey. So as much as it's a lot, at the same respect, as a season wraps up, and unfortunately, none of my seasons have ended in a championship yet, but as a season wraps up and there's the ultimate disappointment because there was no championship, you roll right into the next season, and you're optimistic about what comes next. Now, I realize the Sharks have a couple steps to make here before they, return to expectations of old. But again, I know first game I do of the hockey season, I'm going to be excited. Just the sights, the sounds of a rink and the Sharks, and hopefully the world's in a better spot and SAP Center's a little bit more back to normal. Hopefully. Not all the way, but hopefully. So to answer your question, I don't need to specialize at all. I love them. I love doing them both. I love the fact that they don't. Next year in April, they're going to overlap again, which I don't like. But I like the fact that I can kind of focus on one and then go focus on the other. And thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to try and keep the channel rolling. Look, for me, it's not all about subscriber counts and view counts, but at the same respect, you want to know that if you're going to really put forth the effort into something, that the results are going to be there on a consistent basis. And I will put in all the work that it's necessary. But you want to know that at some point the ALGORITHM, I don't want to say it, is going to take care of you. I feel like if I say it, I might mess up the video. Will Howard Terminal work out? Brendan, I sure hope so. And by the way, not to self-promote too much, but there's another video on the channel, a pretty major document development that came out the other night that not a lot of people were talking about. Basically from the city of Oakland saying that they and the A's agree on a lot of things all of a sudden. Now, the A's have not confirmed this. they've been radio silent on it, so I'm really eager to hear about what comes next from them and what comes next from the county of Alameda in the month of September. But, it's I like the way things are trending, and I don't have to hear all the news. That's fine. I don't need to hear every development on Twitter. But if I know just enough that things are moving forward and they're progressing nicely, do I have sound effects here? Can I? I probably should have done that before. If I know things are progressing nicely, should I use the soundboard a little bit more here? No? I think I should. Heyo! We can do, yeah, okay. Sorry. I got having a little bit too much fun there. What are your thoughts on headgear, not just for catchers and umpires, but for pitchers on the mound as well? Chromatic Man, I know you're probably asking that because of the line drive that Chris Bassett took to the head. And I've been thinking about this a lot, actually. It's quite simple. What could he have done differently in the situation to prevent that? The answer is nothing. He threw the pitch at 87, I want to say, and it came off the bat at 100.1. And if you watch the replay, his glove and his hand are like this. And the ball comes right through the middle. Oh, it's actually his right cheek, but you get my point. I mean, there's only so much a major league pitcher can do in this day and age to stop that. And most of the time they're getting lucky. Their reflex, their reaction, and a ball will just tip off the glove or their hand or whatever. Or it hits them in the shoulder or the waist or the knee. And it might hurt, but it's not a big a deal as, hitting you in the head, potentially the eye, the brain. I mean, this is sensitive stuff up here. But I don't know that a padded hat or any type of helmet is going to change that. I saw people say, well, can you pitch with a cage? I mean, no, it's just not, you can't. So there's no way to change this unless then you get into saying, well, you can't have 3 layers of lacquer on your bat. You can't have such a hard bat. I mean, bats now are harder than ever. Pitches are faster than ever. Exit velocity is quicker than ever. I don't know how to stop this. But I mean, headgear for catchers and umpires is completely important. There's no question about that. But I don't know that you can put any position player out there in a different setup. I mean, you're a third baseman. You could take a screamer. But usually it's that extra, 30 feet, right? If you're playing on the baseline and you're the third baseman, you're 90 feet away approximately from the batter. But that pitcher is 2/3 of that distance at 60 feet, 6 inches. And actually, let's be honest, that pitcher is even another 7 feet closer than that because as they come off the mound, the pitching rubber is well behind them. So we say 60 feet, but in reality, you're 53 feet away from 100 miles an hour off the bat. It's just not possible. I don't know how you prevent this from happening again. And that's the thing for me. It's not to go back and look at Bassett and say, whoa, did he, and I heard, was somebody criticizing him for saying he wasn't in a proper defensive position? Wow, that's a rough take considering the circumstances. But my point is that, his hand, everything was right there. The ball it was everything unlucky in the moment. So I don't know the answer. I wish I did. And I wish I did so it would help somebody else never have to go through that again. Or that it's never worse than what happened to Chris Bassett. Think how lucky he honestly was that he didn't lose his vision, no seizures, no arteries broken, no concussion, no brain swelling, none that we were told about. My goodness. That was bad. And it could have been a lot worse, but I don't know how to fix it. All right, let's move on here. What Sharks player am I most excited to watch next season? Luke, that's a great question, and honestly, I could run down the list because most of them that you saw last year had subpar performances compared to expectations, and for a lot of players, they've already set a bar in this league. You know what they're capable of. I also want to go back to this. Last year was so abnormal. the 60-game schedule 56-game schedule. I was thinking about the last baseball season, which was 60 games. But everything condensed in the back-to-back thing, which I wish they would have kept. And for the Sharks, starting off their first 40 days all in hotels, none of this was conducive to having a great hockey season. But if I had to single out a few names, I mean, Timo Meier for me is one that I really feel like he's got all the tools. We've seen it in spurts. If you could see it consistently from a start to finish in a more normal 82-game season, I think there is so much upside for Timo. Mario Ferraro is another player that has established himself, has taken really tough defensive assignments, and I'm not criticizing anywhere he's been in his hockey career. All I'm saying is that I know how hard the guy works. And I think his expectation is to take another step this season defensively. And maybe even when I say defensively, I mean as a D-man, but also offensively too. So those players, and then, certainly from the core, guys like Logan, guys like Carlson, guys like Bernsey. I mean, they all want more than what they were able to produce last season as well. The status of Evander Kane, I know there's a lot going on. I'm going to refrain from commentary on it right now for a lot of different reasons, but on the ice, he had a great last season. I don't know what that translates to in this upcoming season yet. So a lot of names I could throw out at you there. And of course the new players too. I digress. Bonino, Cogliano, what's the goaltending tandem going to look like? Adin Hill, I'm also very enticed by. And getting James Reimer back that's a great move. I like the goalie 1-2 right now. So I know I've named a lot, but let me hone it back in on Timo. I like Timo. I think he's got a lot of upside. I think if he can harness it this year, have a statement season, I think that would go huge for him and for the team. Let's move on here and see what else we got. Do you prefer IPA or amber ales on a hot day watching baseball? Brash, that's a great question. Hopefully I can call you Brash if your name is John. IPAs for me, good for nighttime, good for settling in. But if I'm in the sun, this is a little bit too thick. Too heavy for a day game. I'll be honest, for a day game, pale ales, amber ales, a lot of ales for day games. Or, to be quite frank, a Pacifico, a Coors Light, those are fine too. Those just keep you hydrated. But honestly, as I've gotten older, I just like better beer. I think that's it. Chromatic Paul Blackburn, kind of pitching his way, yeah. The start the other night, all things considered, flying in that day, just knowing that the team mood after losing Bassett is what it was, kept the team in the game. They didn't win last night, but I was very, very impressed. Any advice for a soon-to-be husband? Wedding is next spring? ? Oh, maybe you just don't know at this point. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the unknown of the world right now, whether you're going to pull it off next spring or not. But let me get to your question. And that was a long time ago. I'm still tripping off the, I'm a dad thing, let alone the husband thing. But I think it depends. It depends on if you've lived with your significant other for a long time, or how long you've known each other, or the backstory, right? Because what I found was that nothing changed. And if you like your life, and that's probably why you chose to get married, the biggest change is, I'm wearing a wedding ring now. It's crazy. I remember feeling that, this right here was the biggest difference. I don't wear jewelry. I was not used to having this on, and then I started knocking it on stuff, and then also I realized, gosh, can I take this off right now? Let me see if I can. Oh, geez, almost got it off entirely. Man, this thing is tight. I'm gonna get it. This is probably a good sign that I and my hand's also a little bit slippery. I know this is probably more than, okay, there we go. It's off. But my finger, I don't know if you can see it right there, but look how I don't know if, can you see it right there? Maybe you can see it right there. Look how Look how my finger right there is like thinner where where my hand is like grown around the ring. I don't know if I'm giving you a good visual of it yet. I should also tell you guys the story of one time how I accidentally stabbed myself in the hand with a knife cutting an avocado, and I actually have no feeling on my left ring finger, the one that I wear my actual wedding ring on. I cannot feel this finger, which is a trip. I can move it, but if I like rub the inside of it, there's 2 nerves that run up your finger. I cannot feel the inside part of my left ring finger. It's a trip. But anyway, yeah, so that proves I can still get it off, but I don't do it very often. I don't want to lose it. I leave this thing on the entire time. So I'm so sorry, Brash John. The advice is that don't make things change. Don't make too big of a deal about it because things are likely not going to change. And, there may be, and I don't know if you've moved in or if you already live together or if you're going to, whatever. But I know that's a part of it too. But if you're already, sharing a space and now you're just making it official, for me, my experience was that I thought way too much about it. Like, it's going to be different. And then you get there and you're like, yeah, there's nothing different. And I'm sorry that I'm clearing my throat here a little bit. The Andres play earlier today was insane. I think that Marte would have the communication skills to call him off, but I guess Andres was way too committed. Did you see how far Andres was out there in center field? Like, he literally was in center field. I was actually more amazed before, unfortunately, they collided. It's like, Elvis is basically running, and he was not running backwards, he was running but out to center field. I was impressed at his range right there. That was tremendous. But I agree with you. Like, neither guy seemed to be, I got it. And Marte, I think, was almost surprised. Like, dude, what are you doing all the way out here? So, look, catch 22. Do I mean to say that? I guess. Well, like, Andres could have caught it. Marte should have caught it easier. But the bottom line is I'm just glad that nobody was hurt, and the game was not decided on that. My goodness, the 4th run for Chicago scored that way. Could you imagine if they ended up tying the game and that was a part of it? Just made me uneasy, and I was like, you know what, this series can go, This series can go. I can't curse on here? This series can go. You're welcome. I don't have like a beep thing, but if I did. Love Chappie staying red hot after a tough first half. Love seeing Chappie stay red hot after a tough first half. Let me try that again. Brazil, can't you read? What's your problem here? Love seeing Chappie stay red hot after a tough first half. What's crazy about Matt is that he had like a 13-game hit streak, and then he had like a 20-something game on base streak. And what I've noticed, though, before he started hitting these homers and really having a really good road trip, was that he drew 5 walks in one of those games. Was that in Cleveland? Yeah. Was it the blowout game in Cleveland? He started to see the ball better, and then all of a sudden, everything took care of itself. I don't want to pretend to know more than I do about Chapman's swing or what the changes he's making. We've talked to him about it. He talked about it today, in fact, after the game. And why would he get into every single mechanic? But he's able to just square up on baseballs better. He's able to get around on fastballs a lot better, cutting the strikeouts down, which I love to see. I'm so encouraged for Matt Chapman. And I don't know, looking back, if a lot of this was injury related, if he was still catching up this year. But I'll tell you this, the timing of it's pretty special. Like, if he's found something now and can carry it on the rest of this season, that's exactly what this team needs to take a next step. You lose a Bassett, you lose a Laureano, the team's reeling a little bit. Now you get Matt Chapman coming in at just the right time to get hot. And as Matt Olson now has, 31 homers, 40 games left. Can he hit 9 homers? Can he get to 40? I think he can. I hope he can. I want him to flirt with it. No, Brazil. I want him to surpass it, clearly. Break 40. Go for 45. I don't care, but I want to see him get to 40. I don't want to, at this point, he's had such a good year. He's improved the average. He's cut down the strikeouts in half. I want to see Chappie finish strong, and I want to see Ole just go from start to finish and get to 40. That would be tremendous for the Mats. Oh, Gary, this is awesome. Like Gary Bettman on the live chat. Gary, I can't say thank you enough. What's that? It's not Gary Bettman? We want the Coyotes to stay in Arizona, but if they were to move to the most logical choice, will be Houston. 6th biggest media market in the Central Division and a perfect rivalry with Dallas. Gary, I like how you signed it. Thanks, Gary. Like I couldn't see your name also right there. Well, and I said this in the video earlier that, so Gary, I know you know this, but with the Coyotes realigning this year to be in the Central Division, I mean, there's just a lot more geographical real estate that they could relocate to. And Houston, honestly, would be in that Central Division. And yeah, it would be a good Texas rivalry. And Houston has always had an AHL team, so hockey's not new to them. Clearly, they have an arena to take care of that. But I have to admit, I don't want to see Arizona lose the Desert Dogs. I don't. I think that there's enough talent, skill. What am I talking about here? I'm actually talking about young hockey players that need an NHL team in their market to want to learn how to play hockey, to be interested by it, to go to a game and get hooked. That's actually what I'm talking about. The Coyotes are they're a novelty for the fan base in the Valley, right? In the Phoenix metro area. That's great. Go to games, enjoy. But for me, what's super important is that a non-traditional hockey market has an NHL team where you can go firsthand and see games and fall in love with hockey. Young kids, they need to have a ton of day games there. Like, that's the hook, because if you can make that into a hockey market, then you've got ASU with a hockey program. Like, this is what it takes to grow the game. And that's what I'm all about. Look, the Coyotes, as I said in my previous video, they have always taken one step forward, 2 steps back, on and off the ice. I don't need to go into every dumb thing they've done or misstep they've had. But the point being that with the new home, hopefully in Scottsdale, hopefully a good situation, I would rather see them stay in Arizona. I still think that there's a lot to capitalize on there, exploring relocation. And by the way, the team says that's what they're committed to, staying in Arizona. All right. Whenever the A's win, the Astros win, and when the A's lose, the Astros lose. Weird. Yeah, that's actually a great point. And on that note, give me a second here to pull this up. I want to, let me see here. Bang. Okay. AL West standings. Can I make this bigger? Yeah, I can. Look at that. Finally did something right today. Can I make it even bigger than that? Yeah, but then it moves over. Okay. So this is with 40 games left to play. You're 2.5 back. This is striking distance. Now, both the A's and Astros playing .500 baseball in their last 10. So are the Angels, but they don't matter. The Mariners now only 3 games back of the A's. That's one bad series by these guys. And one good series at the same time. What just happened there? And they'll get overtaken. I obviously... Stop that. Stop that. I don't want to see that happen. Clearly. And I'm saying that with 40 games left, like there's plenty of time to do whatever here. But this is the plenty of time part that I'm most enticed by. 40 games left, 2.5 back. That is the definition of striking distance. The A's are right now in perfect striking distance. I just saw on my screen here, it said YouTube told me that YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Is the stream going well for everybody, by the way? And I guess I should read in on the comments. You know what? I might take some phone calls here. I just want to make sure the data rate looks good, stream looks healthy. I don't know why it's telling me that. Oh, now it says excellent condition. I don't know. Maybe I hit some bad weather there for a second. All right. Let's get back to a couple more of these, and then maybe I'll take some phone calls. See, this is how far behind I am on the chat. The ring could be killing his finger and Brody wouldn't feel it. That's true. It might have been suffocating it. Forever, thank you so much for being on the Super Chat. I always really appreciate it. So from the A's and Oakland City Council news yesterday, from the updated term sheet, what's left that needs to happen to make the A's stay? Well, glad you asked. From my understanding, they were still a little bit apart on the community fund benefits. Not sure of the specifics of that. And let's also restate this. The A's have not confirmed this. And the city has always been out front saying, yeah, we're good. And the A's are like, are we though? So I really feel like it's prudent to wait before we really get invested. I mean, I saw it in black and white. So did you. The document which says the A's in Oakland have agreed to almost everything. But I also have to tell you that there's an environmental impact report. There's like literally 14 other votes, smaller stuff, but things in the way that need to be knocked down. But the point is that I think what we'll realize in this process is that you'll get so deep into it, you'll get so far into it that at some point you realize this is going to happen. I don't think it's going to be like, sign the paper, yay, it's done. We didn't think it would happen. It's going to be like, oh my gosh, this is happening. So like you'll know it in your gut, and there will be enough indications that they're not turning back now. And there may be setbacks along the way. I hope not, for the sake of our sanity. But to answer your question, the environmental impact report for me is still a big one that's out there to get that squared away, to get that part approved. And it's a tough, it's a delicate piece of land to build on. There's a lot of, but come on, the A's and other parties have been working on this. Like they've known what's there. They know what they're up against. That's like saying, well, I have to pass a test. Yeah, but if you've been studying for it, like get your A-, walk out of there, thumbs up, be happy, and move on. So hopefully that's the case. Oh my gosh, goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm so far behind here on the live chat. Oh, John, referring to the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm so sorry. I did a whole response about the St. Louis Blues to your question, and I wish I had a better answer. I am so sorry, John. I am an American League guy just by work, so I can't say I'm thankful for Stephen Piscotty a couple years ago, but I cannot really tell you a worthy opinion on the St. Louis Cardinals. What's the best menu item at the Coliseum, and what section is it? It's definitely the food trucks. It's the Mexican food truck, the one that serves burritos. They all do, I'm sure, but there's one that's literally the two-hand size burrito. I love the Mexican food trucks, the Mexican food trucks. That's my favorite. Like when I roll up and I see, the 6 trucks that are there, that's the one. Just for me. Just by preference. And something easy to eat, easy to grab, burrito usually, fill me up, have me eating the whole thing, and then like this. I need to take a nap for the 3rd inning. Dallas, wake me up. If Biden were to marry the Queen, would we become the United Kingdom of the Americas? Samuel, you're thinking too hard on that. That's hilarious. I never thought about that. Yeah. What? Where do you come up with that? It's funny, but you've been thinking about that, haven't you? You just mean messing around golf. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. I can mess around out there, but I can also embarrass myself. That's for sure. I did not watch the prospect scrimmage, so I apologize. I don't have a lot of input on that. I just saw some photos. I saw people talking about it. Why is there so many horrible MLB players, especially batters, strike out, or the homer mentality? Can't name the players of each team. So let me say this, Jesus, I believe that is. It's the all or nothing mentality. It's a pitcher who throws, 99, but can't locate it necessarily. It's a batter who's going to lead the league in strikeouts, but also lead the league in homers and knock in a ton of runs. Have a really high RBI count. That's the trend that baseball has gone to. I don't know whether most people like it. It's not traditional, but that's what teams are buying into. That's why, again, that's why pitchers, they'd rather have 1 inning of a guy throwing gas than a relief pitcher come in and throw 3 innings of, topping out at 92. So, Giants champs, 21, 23, 25. Oh, you think you're going to repeat every decade? You're going to go and every. Oh, I see. You went odd years there too. Like you ditched the even year thing for the even decade. You went odd years. We'll see. Wait, 21. I just realized that's this year. You know what's crazy, sports fan? 21 to me felt like way off. Oh yeah, we're actually in 2021. Brasilia Bozo. Hey, they've been a fun team to watch this year. I'm not going to go too hard on the Giants right now, but I will say this. If their season ends in some kind of disappointment, which odds are it will, I'm just saying only one team gets to win the World Series. I hope that they're able to reflect on what a cool, unexpected season they had, kind of like the Oakland A's of 2012. Nobody saw it coming, and they won in a lot of special ways. So I hope at the end of this they're able to. I know right now they're pushing, they're pressing. Chris Bryant's here. He likes it. That's great. But I hope they're able to. I hope they're able to appreciate this like A's fans did 2012. Jack, thank you so much. I have fun doing the streams. Maybe I'll hit the phone lines here if I could really buzz through all these comments. From the Bay Area teams, which do you think will win the next championship and why? You know what's crazy? A handful of years ago, that would be a tough question. Like the 49ers are knocking on the door. The Warriors were the Warriors. Probably going to do it for sure. The Sharks are in the mix so many years in a row. And everybody kind of, timed out a little bit differently. But right now, I don't even know. And a lot of people would sit there and say, well, what about the Warriors? You got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson coming back, Draymond. I don't know. Is it guaranteed to be, if they get their little core back together, I don't mean it disrespectfully, but aren't they a couple years older? Are they healthy still? You know what I mean? Does it work? Does it instantly go back to that? I mean, certainly Kevin Durant's only doing interviews now with Draymond, but I don't know. Honestly, that's a great question. From all the Bay Area teams, who do you think will win the next one? 49ers might surprise people this year? I don't know. They don't even really know who their quarterback is. They like the fun competition of it, which is another interesting one for me. They gave Garoppolo a little bit of time, but now they're set on, giving a rookie that chance. It's crazy. Thoughts on the Toronto Maple Leafs and their blown series lately? You mean the Leafs, Thomas, who can't get past the first round like every single year? I saw that stat this past year. I was like, wait, they haven't advanced in a round since when? And they've gone to like game sevens in almost all of them. It's unreal. They're like Chicago Cubs cursed real. They're like Boston Red Sox cursed real after trading the Babe and not winning, for all those years. Oh, I lost you, sports fan, because I pick off mushrooms. Sorry. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Bamboo Soldier. Hey, Brody. And all here, bless up from the East Bay. Hey, that's where I'm at, right around the corner from you, maybe. Go A's, good to see them get one today. Absolutely. They had to get this one today. Not just to avoid the sweep, but to have a good flight home, to hopefully kickstart their weekend series against the Giants. Talk about the Arizona Coyotes. Where are they temporarily playing? Are they relocating, and where? So they're going to play this upcoming season at Gila River Arena, no question. It's just that Glendale has said after this year, you're gone. So I think the best opportunity for them is to move into the Suns Arena. It's not a great hockey venue. I hope the Suns are okay with sharing it. They're probably not. But I hope that's what happens while they build something brand new in Scottsdale. Check out my YouTube video on this, Kyle. I know you commented on this a while back, but I have a video which I did it earlier tonight, explains everything that I hope will happen for them. Scottsdale, they could be the Scottsdale, hang on, hang with me, the Scottsdale Desert Dogs. And you can watch them on NBC. It's a lot of sound effects. All right, Fido, chill. Melvin, chill. Dog Melvin, as in our family dog is actually named Melvin. I think most of you probably know that by now, but just to reiterate, when I say I pick up Melvin's poop, I'm talking about dog Melvin, the 6-year-old Labrador Retriever, who is great with our son, by the way. It's really fun to see those two. Oh, that's awesome. Run PMC. No idea I had a YouTube channel. Yeah, I really actually started paying attention to it in 2018. Didn't necessarily know what the heck I was doing with it for the first year and a half. Then the pandemic last year, the home studio got built, equipment that I added. Like last November when I was able to finally get all this live streaming stuff together and kick up the internet connection and do solid streams at 1080 and all this other equipment stuff. Like that's second camera, which my producer Justin at NBC absolutely loves. He's like, that second camera is so stupid. But yeah, like I finally, I'm figuring some things out, and I'm loving to see that I found you and that you subscribed. That's awesome. I'm just loving to see the results on here. That is fantastic. Somebody else I see jumped in the super chat, and I do appreciate that. So I want to get to that. Oh, Ruben, are you serious? Thank you so much for $19.99 in the super chat. Ruben, let me just remind you and everybody else, when I say I appreciate this goes to improving the channel. This goes to me now. I'm getting another one of these devices, an ATEM Mini Pro. This will allow me to live stream remotely on location, to do stuff like this at work, at baseball games, whatnot. So this is the channel. It all goes right back to the channel. I invested a lot to get this going, and now this will help me keep expanding it a little bit more. So thank you very much, Ruben. Mark Davis was recently asked about the A's moving to Las Vegas, and his response was, I never think about the A's. I'm sure you didn't, Mark, like when you built Mount Davis, or when your dad built Mount Davis. But is there some history there? Did the two organizations not like each other? So, Ruben, I would suspect that most people watching this right now are saying, of course they hate each other, or there was a lot of friction, especially in the last couple of years when the Raiders were kind of on the way out. The A's said, well, we're staying at the Coliseum, so we need to improve this place. They fixed up some areas. The Raiders are like, well, you can't touch our home too. The A's are like, yeah, you screwed up our home in 1995 when you built Mount Davis out there. There has been a lot of back and forth between the two. They've shared a home, but they've also, they were put in a rough circumstance to begin with. The Raiders came back and not only messing up the field, but changing the aesthetics and the visuals of the Coliseum entirely, putting Oakland behind a curve. And now, let me say this, Ruben, like as the A's desperately try and secure their new home in Oakland, you still have people on the Board of Supervisors of Alameda County. You have people on the City Council of Oakland who are still burnt by what the Raiders did in coming in, asking for a ton, publicly fund this, give us money, and then see ya, we're gone. And like literally it's the curse of the ghost of the Raiders still exists in Oakland, that the A's are like, hey, we'd like to do this. Here's the way it looks. Here's what we want to do. And people say, well, you're going to pull a fast one on us like the Raiders did and like the Warriors left town. It's like, yikes. Totally different. The Raiders were threatening to leave, and then they did. The A's are like, we want to stay. Now, they did throw in Las Vegas as we need to explore, and I know some people don't like that, but they've spent $200+ million trying to stay, and I know it's their intention to continue doing that. That is definitely their A1 option. So, to answer your question, Ruben, I wouldn't say that, and Mark was probably trying to end the conversation by saying that, not necessarily throw a jab, But just say like, yeah, I don't want to deal with those guys. It was probably meant to be not a punch, but just a little one of those. Is that, should I do it up here? Should I be like, oh, I actually touched the camera. That probably wasn't good. Okay. But thank you so much, Ruben, for being here. Let me try and get through some of these. Man, I am so far behind on. I'm gonna. All right, hang on, everybody. Strap in. Put your seatbelts on. Wait, do I have a good sound effect for this? Do I have like a car peeling out somewhere? I thought I did. I have a record scratch. I have a cable car. I have a bus horn. I have a laugh track. Ding ding. Oh, I have the we're going clubbing. Got that one, but do I have the car peeling away? Oh, hang on, everybody. How does the time period work during the year where the Sharks, or where both the A's baseball and Sharks hockey is going at the same time? Does one team have priority, or can I normally do both? Jack, great question. I can normally do as many as possible, go back and forth, especially if it's A's and then playoffs. I did that for many, many years. This year, because of COVID, some restrictions, I couldn't do that. And there is going to be some crossover next year in April where both teams are going. So I don't know. To be flat out honest with you, it's a priority thing. If the Sharks season is saying, stay here, this is going down, like this is good, how could I leave something I started? In the case of this year, it made the most sense for the network and for me to just transition into baseball. So it's a great question. It's not always all my decision. I'm not the boss. But it's a win-win situation either way, right? Already bought tickets to the first ever game between the Kraken and Sharks. We got to come up with a name for the games like the Battle of the Sea or something. Chase, that is, you know what? That's very thoughtful. You're well ahead of the curve. And I think the name Kraken there's going to be so many plays on words there. You're right. How about this? What was in Back to the Future? Was it the Enchantment Under the Sea dance or Enchantment of the... What was that? Enchantment Under the Sea? Let's call it that. I have no clue. I have no clue what other names are out there, what ideas. But yeah, that is a good theme, actually. Mitch Moreland should be one of the A's starting pitchers. I'll tell you what, he was a closer in college. He was throwing 87 on the heater, and he had that slider with it's like 76 with some tilt. Man, I'll be honest, when he took the mound in that game the other night, clearly it was an evening to forget, but that performance came out of nowhere. And what's so crazy is that a guy like Mitch Moreland, I'm sure he talked to Bob, and Bob's like, can you do this? Yeah, all right. Everybody's already in a somber mood because of the injury to Bassett, but so he knew he could do it, but how is it that he goes out there and records a 1-2-3 bottom of the eighth inning against the Chicago White Sox of all teams? You could call in any other reliever and they might allow a hit. They might, give up a double, put two runners on, walk a guy, walk two guys, give up a run. I don't know. He goes in there 1-2-3, I'm done. How does that work? Is it that the batters are so off time to seeing 10 miles an hour slower that they don't know what to do? Reminds me of when Brock Holt pitched not too long ago. He threw a 31 or 33 miles an hour pitch. But I loved it. And it threw all the hitters off. It was like slow pitch softball. They did not know what to do with it. So I know managers and teams are opposed to having position players pitch. But quite honestly, when it happens sometimes, you're like, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I'm not saying anybody wants to try it, but it never turns out to be the actual embarrassment you thought it would be. I'm sorry. I said I was going to zip through these. Oh, you know what? I did this one. Which will win the next championship? I have no clue. It's so even and equal right now, and the next one is going to be unexpected. And I know if you're a Giants fan on here, you're saying, "Come on, they've led Major League Baseball in record all year long." I don't know, but are they built for the postseason? I'm not saying they're not. I just don't know that they are. A lot of other good teams out there. And the AL East is stacked. The West, AL West is stacked. I'm not following the National League on an everyday basis, but I know there's some good teams there too. What's most surprising to me is that the Dodgers and Padres are not leading the NL West. It's crazy. Thoughts on the KD and Draymond drama? You know what, Eric? Manufactured. And that's fine. Like, those guys know what they're doing. They're letting all the little things. If they really had beef, it would not be playing out in the public like this. Or if they didn't have something to benefit from, like if they weren't getting compensated or promoted to do this, they would not let this out. Think about your own life. Why would you air out all your dirty laundry unless there was something in it for you, or unless it wasn't a big deal and you're like, I don't care. Let's just do this. Who's the A's emergency catcher? Maybe Canna or Pinder if healthy. Well, when Chad gets back, which, by the way, I do believe tonight might have been I love calling him Chi's last rehab assignment game with Las Vegas. He made a great diving catch in right field. I don't think you want to put Canna in that situation. That's your leadoff hitter. That's your everyday left fielder. I don't think you. So I don't know the answer. But come on, knock on all the wood in the world. I do not think you want that. You don't want to have to worry about an emergency catcher situation. Are we at a baseball game right now? We are. Pitching with a cage, dumb idea. Well, I don't mean to say it's a dumb idea. It's just, it's not practical. Getting hit with a comebacker is pretty rare. It is, but unfortunately it does happen with enough baseball games and enough hard hit balls. Like, it's going to happen. Wait, what's happening here? Is there a game going on behind me? Whoa, something must have just happened. Once that ball leaves your hand, the first thing should be to react to the ball. First thing, gloves up. Yeah. But I'm telling you, the problem is gloves up, but then you cover your face and then you can't see it coming, or you're not part of the play. It happens so fast. All right, enough of that. You don't always have the time to protect yourself properly. San Jose State football. Maybe that's the next championship. They did quite well last year. They're on the up and up. I'm obviously my alma mater. He's not the head coach, but he's one of the coaches, Alonzo Carter. Big fan of what Coach Carter has done. So that's awesome. Eric, come on. What's one player in the prospect game tonight you could see in the lineup making an impact? How do I know? Eklund, everybody is so pumped about that. They thought they got a steal, and I think they did too. I can't wait. He's like, literally, kid's 18, is talking like he's 25. Is he the first, though? Everybody likes Ozzy, too. So I'll tell you, Eric, what I really think is I'm stoked that they have a next thing. They have a next thing. And even though it might take 2 to 3 to 4 years, whatever, like they have something brewing. I like that. They need that. It's been a long time since their pipeline was like fat. Have no clue. And I'm not saying it like, well, of course he is. Because if I say that, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes right now. And I've purposely tried to stay out of it. I will deal with this when hockey season comes around. I know people are interested, but I'm telling you, this is an intersection of personal and professional stuff and hockey and life and kids. I would rather not touch this until I have some better grips on it. And honestly, if there is something major, if it's a player not on the team anymore because of this, then we can talk about it. But I'm not going to sit here and speculate and, the things I do know versus the things I don't know. I'm not ready to go down that road. I do need to catch a game live sometime. I do. I absolutely do. Hey, thank you for saying that. And I agree. It's a great one. But it's hard work, right? Like, I try and make it look easy, and I hope you see that, and I hope you can appreciate that. It's not always as easy as it looks. You know what? Stay punk. My opinion on it, I don't really want to dive too deep into this. I don't, are there rumors, or are there things known? Are there things established? I mean, clearly we understand how much money has been lost. I'm not going to speak for him where it's gone. And you know what? That stuff, what the hell is that my business? Honestly, it's not. what somebody does or in a good way or a bad way with their money. It's not my business. So those are, I'll just say this, the accusations are really stiff. I think that's incredible. I think those are unprecedented. I think it'd be a shock to me if, let me give you one piece here that just stands out to me. It would be surprising to me that nobody else caught that. If the accusations are true, that nobody else picked up on it. Simple as that. Let me see here. Just want to tell you, thank you for taking a picture with me at the Stadium Series game. Wasn't that in 2015? Aren't we 6 years removed from that? Now is my waifu? I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize. I'm trying to read your screen name there. You're welcome. Absolutely. And you know what? If next time we see each other in person and the time and the opportunity and the situation's right, let's do it again. Let's create the photo. Give man an amber for the day. Those IPAs to go to my head way too heavy. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, give me an amber for the day. Those IPAs. Yeah, the IPAs are heavy. Oh, the phone line is the phone line open? You know what? It's not open yet. Let me buzz through as many of these as possible. Yes, Angela, that is a Maui Wowie. OMG. Altamont Beer Works. Married life doesn't feel different. Only thing different is tax time. Yeah, you're filing those joint returns instead of the single way. Diekman's performance this season, up to the level I thought. I think maybe some inconsistency sometimes. You can see it when he comes in. Certain nights it's just not there. But I still think it's not always there. He has it. It's just not always there. Would love to see Chappie and Ole on the corners for the next 5 years. 5 years, Ruben. Let's talk lock them up for the rest of their life. Let's make the town a destination. What do you say? Favorite part of the job? Honestly, doing shows. I prepare, like an athlete. Do you think a ball player likes batting practice? Yeah, you could have fun with it. That's how I feel getting ready for a show. I can have fun with it, but I love the show. I love delivering. I love trying to be insightful. I love trying to translate good thoughts or translate something from an athlete or an analyst to you, the viewer, trying to think on the same lines as you do so that I can ask all the questions that you had been wondering about. So my favorite part is that I get to share a really good day of work with you doing a show and covering the teams that I love. Let's be honest. I don't feel too optimistic about our playoff chances, some absent players, and the losing streaks. However, I still root for the A's. I got to be honest, like the little rut that they fell into, losing 5 of 6, I think, after winning 7 straight. Yeah, it's been, you talk about riding the wave, like the wave has been up here, 7-game win streak, then lose 5 of 6, then maybe now it's 5, 6, 7-game win streak. Consistency would be great. I think knowing what to expect from them would be great. I have to say this, if they didn't make the trade acquisitions that they did, where would they be? It was a great deadline for David Forst. It really was. And I think you kind of had the inclination that it would be that way at the deadline with those four new big league ball players coming in, all from National League teams. You didn't give up any current roster player on your team to get those 4. You kind of knew it was coming, and I'm glad that it feels that way, and it's playing out that way. Mariners might be coming back. We'll see. I don't know. We rag on baseball so much for not promoting itself. Meanwhile, the only thing about hockey I've seen on Twitter in the last year was someone getting crashed into in a brawl right after. Yeah, I mean, hockey players are not out there as well either. Football players and basketball players, that's why those two sports are king right now. Those players are on social. Like, they exist in the public domain, and they're very much public with a lot that they do. So, will hockey and baseball ever get there? I don't know. Oh, it buffered a couple times. My stream, huh? Good to know. Looks like I'm going out at like 6 megabits a second right now. So I should be, I know that was a while ago, but oh, it was choppy for 20 seconds. Looks good on my end. Thank you. Fine on my end. Had a couple of hiccups. I hate that. The good news is here in the home studio, I'm always also recording it like on this. I don't want to move it too much, but there's a hard drive under here that records everything at the same time. Have I ever taken an Amtrak ride somewhere? And if so, what was it like? Yes, I have several times on the East Coast. I think from like Baltimore to Philadelphia or Boston or something. But I'll tell you what I can't wait to do. I can't wait to take my son to the train museum in Old Town Sacramento. We'll get on in, I don't know, Martinez or maybe Emeryville or whatever, but take the train up to Sacramento and the train museum. I can't wait to do that. He loves trains, and I like them too. So yes, I have. What was it like? It's pretty comfortable. It's probably, like waiting for if you don't show up when the train's there and you're waiting, like you feel like I could be there already. But the fact that you don't have to drive, you can sit back, you can, play cards, do whatever, listen to your music. I like that. It's like the airplane experience, but even easier and I guess a bit slower. Oh my gosh. If the A's move to Vegas, will you still root for them? Will you become a Giant? Will I become a Giants fan? Too late for that. I think we've crossed that bridge already. Astros fan, Brewers fan. Oh, got it. You know what, Dark Knight Driver? I love beer. I love the Brewers then. Great call. Actually, what baseball team would I pick? I love Seattle. Love the ballpark. Love the team colors. I've always thought that, they haven't been to the playoffs in forever. Early 2000s at this point. And they've had some good years. Maybe Seattle. I'd pick them out, I don't know. Who else do I like? Padres. I do like the Padres. Yeah, that would be Petco. Pretty legit experience. Gas lamp. Look at me. I'm talking like I'm 24. 40. I can't hang for 5 seconds in the gas lamp. I'd go to the gas lamp. There'd be like loud music playing. No, not that one. Wait a second. Where's my EDM music? Wait, people don't fist pump still? They don't do that? I just realized something. Wait a second. Was my camera on up there the entire time? Was it on camera 2 the entire time? Oh, you dummy. I just realized that. So yeah, I honestly don't know what I would do. Oof. Where else would you like the team? If plans with Howard Terminal and Las Vegas were to fall out, I don't know. Sacramento? I have no clue. Chase, here's some more on the Sharks versus Kraken. Oh, great, Chase, and thank you for being part of the super chat. Commotion in the ocean. Rustle in the reef. War in the water. You know what? Chase, I'm going to write some of these down, actually. So I can use these on pregame live when we do that here. And I will, if I use these, you better hold me to it today. Rustle in the reef. War in the water. Duel in the deep. Naval tussle. I don't know if a shark is a naval thing. Like the Navy, I guess. All right. Oh, my goodness. I'm so far behind. Oh, JV, sounding crispy, my guy. Thank you. I put a lot into how this live stream looks. But it's also important to me of how it sounds. And sounding good in the mic and the processing. And literally it goes through this mic, cable in here, into this, the Apollo Twin X, then from here into the Soundcraft mixer. And this is actually more used for live stuff, not necessarily this, but like when I was doing pre-games here. I don't want to get too far into the weeds on it, but I can do a lot of stuff with this. I can do a lot of stuff with this, actually. I can do auto-tune, which you've probably seen too on here. And then it goes from here into the ATEM, and then it streams straight out to the internet to you. So, yeah, there's a lot going on audio. I need it to sound professional. All right. That setup is fire. All you have is a laptop. Yeah, but you know what? Bamboo, I'm telling you, for live streaming, for YouTube, if your content is good, you don't need all this stuff is great. I love it. I seriously, I handcrafted all this stuff, and this stuff over here when I used to use that processing equipment, but you don't need all this. Like you honestly just need a laptop. If your content's good, I watch plenty of YouTube channels where the production's not great, but the content is superior, and that's why I watch. A fan of the enemies. Oh, you like the Giants. But I'm eagerly awaiting this A's versus Giants series this weekend. Must watch. I got to tell you, Rome loves Dan. I just hope that it's entertaining. I hope that you get the best of both teams, and whoever wins, wins. But clearly the A's need more wins. But, I mean, the Giants are holding on to their lead, but the A's need to grab a lead in their division. I just hope that I don't hope we see any flops. You know, I hope both teams show up every game. Oh, into season prediction and the NL West. I think the Giants can win the division. Wow. Brazil saying that? The A's guy saying that? You don't hold on to something this long and then not grab it, right? Like destiny itself. Like forget baseball. Just destiny itself would suggest that's probably how it plays out. Now, after that, playoffs, I don't know. Series, I have no clue. But I'll tell you, what I am surprised is that I'm surprised by the fact that in a year like this, it's not the Padres. It's not the Dodgers. Really? Even after the adversity that both teams have gone through. The Bauer stuff. Yeah. No comment. And I mean no comment in like literally. What? And Tatis Jr. being injured in San Diego. Those two teams have the Dodgers. Forget Bauer. Actually, you know what? Forget Bauer. I don't want to talk about that. There's still a really, really good baseball team there that's underperforming. Forget it. Forget that he even is on the roster. I'm just saying that team should be contending, and they're not necessarily, and the Padres are the same way. Let me zip through this. Wonder what happened to Wendelken. I got to say, Ruben, you know what? A reliever in Major League Baseball, a closer especially, but a reliever, it's such a short shelf life these days. It really feels like who establishes themselves and stays great for like 5 straight years. It's hard. It's just really hard. Oh, you too are having an IPA. Congratulations. Cheers. Cheers on that. Teeth or tentacles? I don't know what that means, actually. I don't know what that is. Best pitcher of the night? Oh, yeah. That was the other night. I know we were talking about Mitch Moreland. Oh, Brock Holt, the 31-mile-an-hour Ephus. Ephus is the best pitch in the game. What's up, A's, Raiders, Dubs, Shark? Cheers to you too. Will Crush come back? Honestly, it's crazy that he's already back in AAA. He's already hitting bombs. Hit another one tonight. I didn't expect that to come as quick as it did. Mark Kenna gets hit by enough balls. Leading the major leagues this year, A's new Oakland franchise record. I know he takes a little bit of pride in getting on base. I don't want to see the one that hits him where it hurts. And I don't want to see the one that hits him and hurts him. Let's say it like that. Feeling about this weekend, both teams going up. 2 very good teams going up, but both with flaws and injuries right now. No question. Scott, like I said before, I just want to see them. I want to see a really, really good series. I want to see the best of the Giants, and I want to see the A's put out their best product too. And honestly, if it's 2-1 one way or the other, great. If it's a sweep one way or the other, so let it be. But I want both teams to really bring it, so there's no excuses either way. Imagine Chappie behind the plate. That arm would be pretty electric. SJSU winning the Natty. Oh, that's what it's called now, the National Championship. Baseball sound effects. Yeah, you need, when it's time for a change. Here, how about this? Let me give you this. See if I can do this. And we're back on A's Baseball. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. My music's probably too loud there, isn't it? But you catch my point. All right, enough. Do I remember when Brandon Moss hit that one extra inning game with a home run? Yeah, no, it was over in, I think it was 19 innings. Ruben, I don't think it was 16. I think it was 19 innings that night. And I had to fly out to Vancouver early the next morning for a Sharks hockey game. So I do remember that. Oh, yeah, you asked that so long ago. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so way behind. Ruben, it was the 19th inning. There you go. See, just confirming that. What will happen to Patty Marleau this year? Great question. I honestly don't know. I was thinking about him the other day, with Jumbo signing with the Florida Panthers. I'm still tripped out by that. There's my hockey sound effects. I certainly hope he gets the opportunity. Let me also say this for Patty. What if he signs midway through the season with a team? I'd be okay with that too. Did Jeff Carter do that last year? 2 years ago? He was talking about. Well, I lost track of time. It's okay to be behind, or to at your age and what you're trying to do. Come in halfway through, pick a team, sign with them if they want you and you want to be there. That's awesome. I'm totally cool with that. But I also hope that if he wants to start opening night and play, he can latch on. There's still plenty of time, but I will say the next 2 weeks are going to be pretty important for Patty to latch on somewhere. Christopher, right here, you asked the questions right here. I'm so far behind. I didn't want to talk about it 20 minutes later. Yeah, I am so behind. I'm sorry about that. Let's finally spend some money on franchise guys. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, you don't want to lose those guys. But the other thing is, if you're going to spend on two players, I couldn't present two better ones to invest in. Do you think Chad Pinder would come back to the first team? You mean, like, is he coming back to the A's? Is he going to start? I want his depth. I also realize that September 1st, the rosters expand, but I actually think this weekend, is the plan for him to come back. Roster-wise, I don't know what happens. I honestly don't. Maui Wowie. Drinking a Maui Brewing Company Pono Life Hazy IPA. Okoli Maluna? Alden, I'm so sorry. Probably butchered that. When I'm in Hawaii, I feel like I can say the words easier. Like the Hanoapilani Highway, right? Like I take that from the Kahului Airport up to like Kanapali or Kapalua. So I'm trying. Or go to the gazebo in Napili Shores. Oh, the gazebo. Did some people get that reference? Are there some gazebo people? Where's my gazebo people out there? Comment, by the way, if you're a gazebo person. Thanks for always being friendly when you see me at Sharks Ice and at the tank. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. And I will say, a lot of times there, I have an earpiece in, I'm distracted, whatever. So if I'm like, what? I am dumb, and it's partly because of that, but it's also because I'm heavily distracted. How are you feeling about Buddy Reed, Chris Davis, and Nick Allen? Look, great reinforcements. KD's in a different category than Nick Allen and Buddy Reed, just in his career. I'd love to see them all back, or all next year, in whatever way. It's. I like the fact that the A's have some players in AAA that you can't wait to see again. They've got something brewing down there too, because their team at the major league level is good and stocked. I just want to know that the next wave is there. Do I see Bob Bugner as the head coach if the season doesn't go well? Christopher, I don't want to get too far deep into that. You think about Bob's time. The first season, he took over in December. 2.5 months later, the pandemic happens, and this last season was unconventional in many regards. There are some things that seem deeper than just the head coach right now. I'll leave it at that. Like he can do so much with this team, but I think there are some things that need to get resolved and straighten the course. And is he part of it? Of course. But you need buy-in. You need it all around from the players. You need to see them moving in one direction simultaneously. So, no, I think they like him. I think he is has shown that he knows how to manage a group. Forget the hockey stuff, the hockey knowledge, and you shouldn't need to inspire an NHL team. Sorry, I'm getting a text message. You don't need to be you shouldn't have to be a motivator at this level. It helps to give a nice, second intermission speech and then, let the boys go out there. But my point is, he has, number one, not gotten a fair shake, and number two, I think he's perfectly capable of helping this group steer the ship back in the right direction. So I want to, but I don't know that this season is the determinant of that. You know what I mean? If last year were a full regular year, and then this one's a full regular year, maybe. But given where we've been, I think he's owed a little bit more time and opportunity. Love the Train Museum. I do too, Jim Bob. Imagine if they had not grabbed Marte, Gomes, Harrison, Chafin, and especially, no Laureano. It would be worse. Andrew, what's up, buddy? Long time no talk, I feel like, but I'm glad you're on. Thanks for being here on the YouTube channel. The Train Museum in Balboa Park in San Diego is epic. Graham, we went there in early 2020, January, before everything went to... We went there. Took our son there. It was great. He loved it. Ready for Battle of the Bay 3-game series at Oakland? Me too. Am I going to answer calls? I got to catch up here on these chats. I'm so sorry. Let me catch up. Pick the Cubs if the A's go to Vegas. Nah, Andrew, I'm more of a San Diego guy. See, that's where it is. Fist pumps are still in. Okay, so we're only like 5 minutes ago. That's great. Company holiday party at the Train Museum. What's up from Elk Grove? R&M. Thank you so much for being here. I stay rooting for Seattle because Mitch Haniger is a Bay Area boy. Okay, all right. Was he Mitty? Archbishop Mitty for Mitch Haniger, I believe. When will KD come back? Wishful thinking, but a lot of people love the dude. The team loves the dude. The current players love the dude. That's why I'm not surprised they brought him back to the organization. Am I surprised he's already in AAA hitting bombs again? A little bit, but pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what the timeline, I didn't know what the agenda was going to be. Oh my goodness. What would happen if the Sharks don't make the playoffs this upcoming season? Could Doug Wilson lose his job as Sharks GM? I don't know. Let me just say this. It's uncharted territory. In all their years, the Sharks have never not made the playoffs 3 years in a row. Right now, they're sitting on 2 years in a row. My thoughts on Chris Davis, again, happy for him that the A's brought him back in, opened up the door. What other team was going to sign him and put him in AAA like 2 weeks later? My point is that they already had prior history and knowledge of who he is. They know where he's happy, what makes him happy. I would love to see the A's benefit from this. Trade him away to the Rangers for Elvis Andrus and then bring him back for nothing and hopefully see a resurgence in his career. It happened to Jed Lowry. Just saying. Jed was it was more of an injury thing, but maybe it was that thing with KD. May 5th, 2019? Ran into the railing in, was it Cincinnati? It just never was the same. Playing left field was or Pittsburgh. Was it Pittsburgh? Kind of never the same after that. I don't know. I'm rooting for the dude. I like KD a lot. He was always good to me. Giants been killing. Have to give it to him. Yeah, who saw him coming? I agree. Hope Jed stays with the A's. I mean, how could he not at this point? It's the place where he's clearly comfortable. Matthew, any updates to Chris Bassett? Look, I saw that he was with the team this morning, and I'm not sure if it was at the hotel by the buses or at the stadium by the buses or whether he was making a pickup or whatever. They said he looked, facially like he got a baseball hit to his face. But the fact that he was there, presence, kind of joking around, the fact that he's capable of that visit, awesome. I would suspect that because of the injury and flying and why risk anything, that he's just going to stay in Chicago, maybe get the procedure taken care of. And it's a major major city. They would have all the resources to get it done. So I don't know, honestly. But Matthew, to your question, the update is that he was around today and fired up the team, which I think is awesome. John Leonard, that's another, you know what? That's another under the radar player, Jack. A guy that I can't wait to see hopefully take some next steps this year. I think you saw flashes of it, especially at the beginning. And when you're a young player, I think what happens is like it's hard to keep pace, that you're playing every other night like the Sharks were for January and February and March and April. So maybe a more traditional season and schedule help him maybe second time around. But do I think he becomes a more consistent player? I hope he does. I think he's got all the right tools to do that. But I also would tell you that it takes time to really latch in this league. For a lot of guys. For some guys, it doesn't. They're in, they're right there, and it never goes away. But I certainly hope so. Jay, thank you so much for being part of the Super Chat. You love and miss Ray Fosse, and things haven't been the same. Have I had a chance to speak with him or get an update how he's doing? You know, Jay, let me just state this without getting too personal here. Out of respect of Ray, back before any announcement was made and before I knew anything, you have to understand not too many people, even on the very, very, very inside, knew that this was going on. I think we all had the inclination that something wasn't right in just our everyday interactions. And I sent him a message a while back. I didn't hear anything. I don't want to read too much into it, like he is not doing well or didn't get it. I don't know. So I have not had the chance to speak with him. And I don't know that a lot of people have. I don't want to overstate that for sure. So there hasn't been much. I wish I had more. I wish it was positive. I don't have much to go on. But to your point, Jay, I appreciate the sentiment. My heart is warm to see that many people saying what you're saying, putting up signs at games. I love it. I hope he knows it. And look, I mean, we're so covered and we're so talented. Glenn always does a great job. Dallas when he's there. Dontrell I've really enjoyed when he jumps on the broadcast. Shooty did a couple a few weekends ago. So I mean the squad is deep. But to your point, you know, I think for Ray to immediately have to step back like that, just rough. Really, really, really rough. So you love the NBC baseball song thingy. The old where is it here? We could there you go. Or you could, if you want to go from Glenn Kuiper to Randy Hahn. See, this gets you excited for hockey season, right? That'll get you going. I vote for a just a bit outside soundbite. Yeah, I'd probably get copyright sued by whoever produced Major League, the movie, for that. Hope Fosse returns. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people definitely feel that way. Look, work. Let me put work aside. Work's not important right now. Getting somebody healthy is. Beat SF this weekend. Oh my gosh, I cannot catch up here on the chat. The phone line. Oh, I got to get it open. Oh, I nailed the Hawaiian earlier. I tried. Brah. Seen Ricky Henderson at a bunch of A's games. Could you imagine if he was our hitting coach? I don't even need Ricky I just need him around. He doesn't even need to do one thing. He should do a lot of things. Ole and Chappie forever in Oakland. That would be awesome. Should the A's reduce the size of their foul territory and add more seats there instead? You know, Sam, I hope I can call you Samuel. It's nearly impossible to do that because to get rid of that foul territory, you'd actually have to sink the field even lower. And the problem with that is the field is already, I want to say like 20 feet below sea level. So sinking the Coliseum and adding more seats, not logistically possible. And that's also one of the biggest challenges of the Coliseum is that it's so tight. Concourses, the clubhouse. Whoa. Oh. Good thing this puppy's empty. Let me make sure it's really empty now. Okay, sorry about that. One of the challenges of the Coliseum is that it's all concrete and it's all walls that cannot move. So you can't people have said, well, fix up the Coliseum. You can't. You can't do anything. That's like saying, put a flat screen in a 67 Chevy. You can't do it. They've done enough. They've done as much as they can. And honestly, the Coliseum right now is as good as it's ever been. The experience is, well, it's COVID times, but the experience is way better than it was 10 years ago. They've put a lot into it. And so actually, I'm kind of happy that the last years of the Coliseum are going to be the best years, of the fan experience, and look at the way the team's playing. And you know what? I'll say this. After all the years of the foul territory being discussed, and, it benefits the pitchers, and it's a couple extra outs for the A's that frustrate them, it's an interesting facet of the game. The Coliseum has so much more foul territory than any other ballpark. But it makes the conversation around the games interesting, and it allows Eric Chavez and Josh Donaldson and Matt Chapman to climb up on that tarp on the third base side, and Matt Olson on the first base side to make some incredible catches. You've got gold and platinum, and honestly, you have 2 platinum glovers on the corners. Perfect for the Coliseum. Have you ever thought about that? How perfect that the Oakland A's have those defenders for their home field with all that foul ground. Let me just dive through this. How's the vibe of the A's era, or how does the vibe of this A's era core from 2018 to present compare to 2012 and 14? That's a great point, Diego. It's similar but different. The earlier team was more experienced and older. The Brandon Inges, the Cocos, the Brandon Mosses, like now with Chappie, Ole, and Bassett, Minaya, Laureano, this is more of a younger group, and a lot of them, Pender, have come up together. So I think this group is younger, but they also know that maybe they're capable of more. They've known that this is not a surprise to them. 2012, surprise. When they backed it up in 13, it was like, huh. And then 14 was that season where they had the best record in baseball at the All-Star break, and then had to win game 162 with the Sonny Gray start in Texas on that last day. They had to win to get the second wild card. And then in the wild card game, they had 3 different leads against the Royals and ended up losing in 12 innings. The Salvador Perez single past Donaldson. So it's similar, and I wish I were around it more in the last 2 seasons, last in this, but because of protocols, we could not and cannot be. But I know these guys well enough. This group it's got more talent, but it also has, and you remember back then the division was, the Rangers were the team to chase, but the Astros, and that's why the division is not as easily won. The Astros are way better now than the Rangers were back then, or the Angels were back then. I got to be honest. I think the 2020 and 21 Astros are better than the 2014 Halos. So, similar but different, but also the A's now are better than they were back then. And maybe more fun in 2012 and 13 and 14 because they were surprising, and Cespedes and Reddick was a showman. They were more showmen back then. But I think they're more businesslike now, if that makes sense. Okay. Jolie, I asked this in another video, but if you could take a second, Stream Decks, just for shifting camera visuals or other stuff like soundboards, etc. You're just getting back into podcasting. That's great. Okay, so let me show you here what's going on. I have 2 Stream Decks. I have one smaller one here, the Mini and the XL. And by the way, I just purchased a 3rd Stream Deck, which I'll bring for the remote setup and put that in the travel case. I primarily use this one for 2 things. The bigger one here, which you can see. This one is for the soundboard. It's also for this other screen where I can put it on here, and you could see me changing screens. I can literally do every single graphic combination. Like, for example, I did the video on the Coyotes earlier. A while back, I did one on the Laureano suspension, or Chris Davis coming back to the A's. I can dial all these things in. I can also tell you, hey, subscribe to the channel if you're watching right now and you're not already subscribed. That'd be great. So I use this one. This one is basically it has the option to have every different like shot combination I could do on there, every macro they call it. But because it's so big, it's also the soundboard. But what I use the smaller one for is when this is the soundboard, and then the small one can control my shots too. Like I'm on the GoPro, for example, then I can go to this camera, or then I can go to. Let me pull it up here for just a second. Like I had. Oh yeah, let me actually go to this real quick. I can do this shot. Oh, my activity. I was watching the wildfires earlier. If you were on the stream an hour and 40 minutes ago, you saw I was looking at the different wildfires going on in Northern California. But anyway, I can cut to all the different shots. So bottom line, is it a little bit excessive to have 2 stream decks? Yes, but in the moment, what I really wanted was this one to be closer to me. And actually, a lot of times I leave it over here, but I wanted to be able to go pop, 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 pop. I want to be able to do all that or this, and do all that or this real easy. And I can do it here, or I can do it. I can do it here, or I can do it with the other Stream Deck. They work in unison. So hopefully that explains it. Good question. I know that was pretty in the weeds for a lot of different people. I can also pull back up the chat. Oops, that's not the chat. Where's the chat, Brazil? That's not the chat. There we go. That's the chat. Okay. Back to this. Chappie's back on fire. Absolutely. Oh, Xavi versus Chappie. I've done this one before. It's impossible. Like Xavi's had 6 straight gold gloves. I think honestly, I think Xavi would tell you this too. Chappie's just getting started. I think Chappie has the ability to supersede Xavi, but damn, they are both ball players. They are ball players. I love both of them. Think how lucky the A's have been over the years, from Sal Bando to Carney Lansford to Xavi to even Josh Donaldson for too short of a time to now Chappie. It's ridiculous how many great third basemen the A's have had. Exhibit could pimp a 67 Chevy with a flat screen. Yeah, back in the day, right? Back in the day. Okay. Oh my goodness. It's 11:36. Let me do are you guys ready for this? Let me do a couple phone calls here. Let me set it up on the screen. Let me do it. All right. Put it there for you. Let me log into the old, the phone patch here. Oh man, there's been a ton of voicemails. Look at this. Oh no, wait. Are these from today? Well, that didn't take long. I can't hear it here for a second. Let me make sure this is actually working the right way. Hello from the 925. Who's this?
Oh, well, hello. Hello, Brody. This is Eric from beautiful Concord, California. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
As soon as you said Eric and the way you said it, I was like, yeah. Puck guy. Hey, how does it feel, Puck guy, to get in? Like you hit it first. How jealous is AJ right now that he's not that we're not talking? You know.
He's super jealous. He always gets to talk to you all the time. I never get the Brody time. So,
well,
you know.
Don't tell him, but I enjoy this more than him bothering me. Just want you to know that. So. You can record that. Well, you can get this clip, right?
This will be clipped for sure.
Good.
Sure.
Let me turn your volume up here. I fear that last time I did calls, I found out that I was a little bit low, so I just cranked you up a little bit. So, okay, dude. So let me ask, before you, I know you called me, right? But let me ask you, did you watch the prospect scrimmage?
Oh yeah.
What stood out to you?
Eklund looked really sharp. He's got great chemistry with Bortolo. So it's a bummer that he's going back to Michigan.
Yeah.
But Ozzy's got some wheels.
That's good.
There's some for the first time in a while. I think there's some potential in the development system.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen in a long time.
That's what I said earlier, that the pipeline is fat again, where I think for years it was like, and again, the pipeline is, I also, you tell me if you agree with this, it's not like a next year thing maybe, or even a this year thing. I don't know how many years until it like hits, but it's there.
Yeah.
Like you can see headlights down the road coming your way, right?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
That's good.
You've seen Ozzy and all those guys look really sharp.
How was the, it's a scrimmage, right? And it's August.
Right.
Was the game, what did the game resemble? What did the scrimmage resemble? Like a scrimmage?
You remember you remember Sharks fantasy camp, right?
You mean where I was hugging the wall the whole time? No, I'm just kidding.
Or I was trying to compliment you to say goals and then getting knocked down by Jeff Odgers, but that's beside the point.
Jeff Odgers leveled my one fantasy camp goal, and the next thing I know, Eric, I scored a goal, right? Like I banged home a one-timer and passed from the corner, banged it in, and all I remember was the puck. I see the puck in the back of the net, and then the next thing I know, I'm like, oh look, there's the ceiling of SAP Center. Why am I seeing the ceiling? Because Jeff Odgers checked me. I'm sorry, I cut you off. No, what were you going to say?
No. It was kind of like a pickup game. It was like Team Ricci had won like 8-2, and then they played a 3-on-3 overtime where Team Marchment scored a couple of goals, but a little scrappy. It's kind of like an all-star game for goaltenders, but I mean, the guys came out ready to play tonight.
Goaltender's worst nightmare, it sounds like, huh?
Yeah, no, totally.
How have you been, man? And let me ask you this: like, I looked at the Sharks this offseason and thought that they were probably due to make some larger scale moves and change the course of the team. I don't know that they've done that yet. I'm curious what you take away or how, and I know you're a guy that loves excitement. I know you love optimism. You're a glass half full guy usually, but they haven't changed a lot from last year yet.
Right. Yet. I think they've made some good moves. I do like Cogliano. I do like Bonino coming in. I think that's going to shore up some depth that was missing that they didn't have last year, where I think it really cost them, down the road. And they lost up on matchups and such. I think they'll be okay. Am I like prepping a parade down Santa Clara Street? No. Am I trying to set aside money for playoff tickets? Not yet.
We got to see how it plays out, right? Like
exactly.
But I would also say, like, for a lot of us, and you've been following as long as anybody this team, you almost have to like recalibrate, because we were in tune with for so many years. Hey, it's opening night. We drop the puck. Guess what? Sharks are basically in the playoffs already. They haven't even skated 5 shifts and they're already in the playoffs. But now it's like making the playoffs again is not a guarantee. It's not easy, and it's gonna mean a lot to this group the next time they get back there.
Big time. I mean, a reset was definitely needed. I think we needed to rebuild the farm system.
Yeah.
We needed to get some of the guys that thank you for your time, but it's time to move on. And so you're going to have a struggle there, but. I mean, the pressure, and even Jonathan Becker said it to the media, it's like we're not only going up against opposing NHL squads, we're also going up against opposing Bay Area sports teams. And get it, hashtag Bay Area Unite and everything. You can't be irrelevant in the Bay Area too long, especially with the success that you've had in the area over the last dozen years.
That's 100%. I mean, honestly, as soon as the Warriors became the Dubs to everybody who just started following them, you know what I'm saying? Like, by the way, if you're 40 years old and you call them the Dubs, I know you have not been a longtime fan, because when I was growing up, the Dubs did not exist. Anyway, I digress.
It was all about Run TMC.
Exactly, but I mean, even it was just the Warriors,
Right.
Whatever. But I definitely understand that point, and it's just. I think too what shocks a lot of people is like last year, even the way that it went. On paper, you look at the team and you're like, this group should be able to put something together. And I don't know, man. They've never not made the playoffs 3 years in a row. I don't want to go down that road this year. I hope that, and I agree. I do like the additions. I think with Cogliano and with Bonino especially, and a fresh slate in the crease, right? Like you just cleaned house. Like let's start from scratch. Because for many years, I always said team defense is letting the goaltending down, and then at some point, goaltending was letting the team defense down too.
Right.
It kind of snowballed back on each other. But I really think that they're a more veteran group now maybe than they've been in the last couple years to start. So they're not, and a lot of the Barracuda players were just not necessarily ready when given the opportunity, or they were ready, but they didn't capitalize on it. So I'm actually,
right.
I hate to say, well, I don't want to see those chances given, but I like the fact that you know what you're going to get probably on a regular basis.
I mean, it's certainly going to have a lot of the prospects down the road. You could see the potential already.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we've ever seen from the Sharks before.
Hey, you're not going to be rooting for the Giants this weekend, are you? You're going to you're going to pick a right baseball team, aren't you?
Brody. I've told you this millions of times. As much as I lean more towards the Giants, I'm kind of a split capper.
What?
Yeah. Hear me out. I grew up. I caught on with the Giants when they won the NL West in '87. Yes, I'm that old. But my favorite player growing up is Ricky Henderson.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I had the neon green puffy batting gloves.
The
and
Mizunos, huh?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always wanted those.
I wish I still had them.
You know what's funny, Eric? Jose Canseco, when he worked with us that year, I told Jose that story. I was like, and Jose wore them too, right? The same ones.
Right.
I told Jose, I was like, man, those, when I was in Little League, every kid wanted those. And he's like, oh, you should have just told me. I would have gave you one. I'm like, yeah, because 12-year-old Brody had your phone number back then, like it was, anyway, it's funny. He didn't get it, but I got it, and I get what you're saying. So
nice.
Split capper. All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right. No,
World Series, I'm in trouble.
You did it. You did it gracefully. Some people are like, oh, I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna see who else is out there, Eric. But you know what? I could have ended it just like this. I feel bad if you and I could go forever. Is the problem? And it's what time is it? It's 11. Oh my gosh, 11:46. But
yeah,
dude, I'm so
go to work in 5 hours. So
oh my gosh. Brody. Hey, and thank you for being an essential worker. I know what you do, and I respect the hell out of it. It's hard work, and I appreciate you for doing that.
Hey, appreciate what you do, bud. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Eric. Have a good night, man. All right.
You too.
Let's see here. We will. Oh, man. Was it like 5 seconds? Good evening from the 510. Who's this?
Hey, this is Casey. You might know me better as A's, Raiders, Dubs, Sharks on your stream.
Haha! Did we chat earlier, I think?
Yeah, for sure.
How's it going, Casey?
Oh, I'm doing well. I actually just finished a stream of my own, so I hopped on yours. Yeah, you're kind of my inspiration, man. Honestly.
Oh, come on. Yeah, well, you can do better than this. Don't set the bar higher. But so, what do you talk about? Do you talk about the A's, Raiders, Dubs, and Sharks? Is that
every single day.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So I've recapped every single A's game. I do like a 5-minute recap of every single one.
Really?
Single Warriors game. Yeah. I mean, if you have free time, I suggest you check it out.
I will.
I've been watching you, man, for a long time. I'm only 16. I've been watching you for a long time.
Oh, I appreciate that. You know what? I would guess that on some nights, I just don't have it. Your breakdown is better than what I could do on TV. So do you do it? How long after the game do you wait to do it? Do you put together some thoughts and then say, all right, let's go? Or do you just instantly fire it off?
I usually instantly do it. I mean, when I can, when I'm traveling, I got to whip out the Mac at the hotel, and I just try to stay consistent,
Yeah.
You definitely have. I mean, I feel like whenever Howard Terminal stuff comes out, I'm crossing my fingers on that. You're like the first dude I go to. You know what I mean? Like, you got some good insights for sure.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Let me ask you this: Are you a person who wants to get into the sports media field, or are you just doing this for fun, or you like? What is it?
Yeah. So funny story. My mom went to high school with Matt Vasgersian.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they were friends actually.
So she's from like Lafayette or something, because isn't he from Moraga?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I don't want to expose you or anything. Are you from like the Alamo Danville area?
Yes.
Well,
I'm not from there, but yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of my friends, like they told me they run into you and stuff because I go to school out there.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Well, I'm not going to ask you where you go, because then we're getting too specific on a YouTube live stream. But that's awesome. Wait, so 16, you're in high school?
Yeah, I'm in high school. I'm gonna be a junior, but I've been really into broadcasting.
Cool.
Like my whole life. It would be my dream job. I know it's a hard field to make it in because it's so competitive.
Hey, if I can do it, you can do it. So
yeah.
So let me tell you this. I've been thinking about this as you were talking. You have the advantage right now, and anybody that has ambitions of the broadcasting career. First off, broadcasting has shifted already in the last 10 years, and it's going to keep shifting to more live streams, to more off the cuff, to more natural, to less of the Ron Burgundy anchorman and more of the Casey. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more of that. The average person with insights, good thoughts, well put together commentary. But I think what you're doing right now with a YouTube channel, and I will check it out, is
thank you.
This is what, when people say, how do I get into the field? Should I do an internship? Yeah, you probably should. Should I take an entry-level job? Yeah, you probably should. But what you should definitely be doing is getting your reps on YouTube. I mean, if you would have told me in 1997, there's going to be a website where you can post videos and have the whole world see them and do live streams from your house like this, it's freaking nuts. I would have loved that opportunity just to practice and share. So you have that advantage. Please, man, take advantage of that opportunity like I know you're already doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I'm really, excited for the winding down of the A's, and I'm trying to, just get all the content out there like you are. And
Is the channel growing at all? Like, let me tell you this. I know it's what every person wants to do, grow their channel, But for, like I said, for me, for you, it's more about developing like the skill, right? Like, so you feel like I'm getting good at this. But is the channel growing too?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting at like 540 subs right now, and I mean, honestly, didn't really have any intention of, I guess, getting that big of a following. It was more of a for fun thing. Yeah. But it's definitely a good start for sure.
Cool.
I mean, it's just with what the resources I have, I'm trying to get it, as good as I can for sure.
Awesome.
Put it that way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, it was a pleasure. Thank you for calling in, and maybe if we do run into each other someday, I mean. I'm especially in this day and age, I lay low a lot more, but when we all get back to getting out again on a regular basis, hope I run into you.
Yeah. Well, last thing. First of all, I'm going to the A's game tomorrow, so I don't know if you'll be there.
We'll be in the studio all this weekend, unfortunately, but
okay.
But enjoy.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want, thank you. And also, like, last thing, if you want to check out my Instagram, it's KASEY_undercover, and I do some stuff on there too. So
okay.
If you don't want. Yeah, so just let me know. And nice talking to you, man.
I will stalk your YouTube channel at some point soon. Honestly, man, thanks for the call and best of luck. And keep in touch. Whatever I can, help you out with over the years, you just let me know, okay? And when I say over the years, like you're 16, go have fun, be a young guy too, right? Like live, like work hard on the career, but play hard in your free time too, man. So
yeah, all right, yeah, appreciate it a lot, man.
Good stuff. Thanks, Casey. All right. What do you say we do one more? There it is. There's the last caller of the night. Hello from the 510. Congratulations.
Yes.
I think this is the last call. Who is this, by the way?
Great. This is from the 510 from Berkeley. This is Bamboo. You can see me in chat, Bamboo Soldier.
Bamboo, man, we talked earlier. Thanks for dialing in. Berkeley, huh?
Yeah, Berkeley, born and raised.
Love it.
Haven't been here my whole life. Traveled around a little bit here and there, but back in Berkeley. Just wanted to say, Brody, it's really good to have this kind of dialogue with all the fans about the sports going on right now. Like doing the live streams, just talking about baseball, just the simple things. There's not many avenues for this right now, and so what you're doing right now, I really appreciate it.
Bamboo, man, I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. It's I mean, it's a crowded landscape of a lot of different things, but maybe not everything that could be covered is out there. And I think, what happens is a lot of people and networks and radio stations and media entities, they look and say, well, where are we going to get the most eyeballs? And of course,
exactly. It's all about the money.
But that's what we would all do. For me, this is not necessarily, I'm not trying to not even trying to make $5 off the live stream. I'm just doing this because, to your point, it's what I'm passionate about. It's what I do. It's what I've been putting my blood, sweat, and tears into. So I want to kind of create that. And that's why I hope this channel can grow out a little bit so that, more people get exposed to it. So
I see that too. And that's been my whole philosophy too. I'll be short. I know you got a little bit of time.
No, you're good. You're good.
But one of the glaring things. I mean, I'm a born and raised A's fan. Diehard A's fan. Not diehard like I go to every game, but I grew up with the A's. Born in '84, so I remember the '89, all the late '80s and early '90s, and the Bass Brothers. All of that.
Me too, man.
The A's are in me, and I can't get it out of me. I love the A's. But it was kind of like recently the coverage of the A's, kind of dropped off, especially with the 957 breakup, blah, 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 So it wasn't always, the exposure is just not there like I believe it needs,
Yeah. Well,
and so I miss that. So when you do these lives, it's great to just interact with the chat, and I really appreciate how you interact with the chat too.
Yeah.
That's crucial, because it's all about the fans, really, in the end.
Yeah. Well, and if I'm just sitting here talking to myself, I mean, for most of it I am, and it's bad. That's the bad. The good part is when somebody like yourself and others who have brought good things to the table. And I'm telling you what I do with these live stream, I record it, and then I go back and I say, well, these were 5 or 6 really good questions and good, I mean, now we're actually talking. But even when somebody brings up a good question and I could give a knowledgeable and insightful answer, then I say, well, I'm going to clip that off and make it a whole separate video so other people can just see that.
Because you definitely have that insight, a lot of us the insight you have is damn, I wish I could be able to see, hear this or that, what you experience doing what you do, because a lot of us, we love the sport so much, and being that close to all of that is it's really cool to be able to share that, with everybody. And
I was going to say, let me just throw out the disclaimer. The fact that if people agree or what I say resonates with them, it's not because I have some special ability. I'll be honest. What I really thrive off of is the access. I watch baseball games with Dave Stewart or Dontrell Willis or Bip Roberts or Shooty Babbitt, or I watch hockey with Curtis Brown and Scott Hannon, or I talk to Dallas Braid and Glenn Kuiper, or the A's players have been so kind and just, you could text them, I could talk to them when I'm actually allowed to go, right? With all the restrictions.
That's great.
Hockey players, same thing. And I think I try and be really respectful to them so that when I need to ask a question, it's not a burden or a nuisance or whatever. But the point being is
exactly. And you've proved that. I'm sorry, to interrupt, but you've proved that a lot. You've been respectful so much, and everybody knows that. So I appreciate, they all appreciate you too. I guarantee it, probably. Not that I know any of these guys, but the fact that you get the chance to talk to these guys and shoot the shit with these guys about baseball and hockey and everything. That's so cool, man. It's you can share it with everybody here who has access on YouTube, because it's still such a powerful platform to be able to spread things like this. And we got to talk about some positive things, because there's so much going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
One of my best distractions was just sports, and especially A's baseball. You know?
Well, I wasn't trying to flex earlier and be like, oh yeah, I know all these people. But no, what I'm saying is without any of them, I'm nothing, right? Like I
Exactly.
rely
Humble.
yeah, I rely on like their, you know, dude, this is terrible. Like I tried to sound cool the other day. I was like, man, Dontrell drips so much knowledge. Of course I'm going to get wet, you know, like, but that's like,
Man,
that's the thing, right? Like
I would love to meet him.
It rubs off
so
on
cool.
me so that then I can take, and what I try and do is just be a connoisseur of thoughts. Like I heard what this person said and I put them all together and I talk to this person and then I try and package that in a way that makes sense or is digestible or helps people understand something or, you know, so anyway.
I'll close real quick. I don't want to, I mean, maybe somebody else wants to talk, so I'll end it.
No, you're the last one. So we can end it strong then.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, it's so important. We have to be open to everything. It doesn't matter if it's sports, politics, whatever. It's important we try to accept those perspectives and judge it with our heart and our minds and figure out what we really believe in. It doesn't matter if it's sports or the whole big picture, but like that's kind of what you were alluding to. Just be humble. Listen. We got to listen more.
Yeah.
And discussion is so important. And
I'm with you. You know, I feel like in this day and age, anybody with a Twitter account feels like they always need to be saying something. Like they always need to have the hot, especially in like. And I know you were talking about real life serious stuff. I'm saying like sports, which is not usually life or death. But somebody in the media is like, I gotta have the hot take. Like they know something just happened. I gotta fire off the hottest take that everybody's gonna be like, oh, you dunked on him. Oh, it's like for me. I look at it and I say, let me step back from like 20 feet and look at this and say, what's the most like, if I can't add anything to this, I'm not going to. But if I can, what makes sense? Like what is the right thing to do, not the first thing to do. So anyway, I don't want to get too deep in all that, but we're on the same page. We're exactly on the same page.
And I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Blessings to everybody. I know there's a lot of things going on in this world right now, and it's like we're still grateful to enjoy sports. And Brody appreciates what you provide right now because it's a really cool thing. You know, hopefully you keep it up because I love the fan interaction. I mean, the chat interaction you do is really cool too. And like you let people call in and talk about what they want to talk about, and it's awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Jolie Tacos on here just said, "Yo, he just got deep." I think they were talking about you.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, you guys can check out my channel. I was in the chat. I don't want to promote myself.
It's okay. Go ahead.
You know,
Bamboo Soldier, right?
Yeah, and I got an interest in a lot of things. So, especially baseball and sports, but history and all sorts of things.
That's cool.
You see my channel and music.
What kind of music?
A wide variety.
You make music
reggae,
or you talk about it?
I do some of my own. I do some of my own beats. I also do lyric videos. I also talk about music.
Nice.
I do tribute videos. I do history stuff. A lot of things oriented with pretty much everything.
Cool.
I just keep it open, you know.
Hey, do what you like.
Vibe stuff.
Don't fit a narrative. Don't fit a mold. Like that's what I'm on. Just do what you like on here.
We gotta be free.
Exactly. 100%.
Do what our heart tells us to do, you know. But the important thing is we got to be more kind to everybody, you know, all the time. That's one thing we should carry with us more, you know.
I hear you.
Everybody in the chat has been real, and I appreciate that. You've always been so real, and I appreciate that. You know, we need more of that.
I try. Thank you for that compliment. That is actually a huge compliment. So I appreciate it. Well, you know what? We just hit midnight.
Yeah, it's about time. Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing tomorrow, but get some rest.
I'm gonna sleep in till about 10 o'clock.
You are so lucky.
Do some gardening.
Oh, well, wear a mat.
The A's? Okay, so sorry, real quick.
You're good.
The A's? What? I'm sorry. The A's are opening up tomorrow. Where? Because I have not been following as much as I should.
They're at the Coliseum against the Bay Area's other baseball team.
Giants.
Yeah.
Dude, sorry, guys. Everybody in chat's probably.
No, it's good.
Sorry, just brain fart.
Hey, I do. Right. I honestly do the same thing. I'm like, what time is my game today? And who's the?
I know.
It's
I'm
always
try to get the Sunday game.
It's always at the beginning of a new series, but this one I knew was on the calendar for a while. So, Bamboo, man.
Go A's.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Go A's. Bless up to the Giants too.
Yeah.
Love to all Bay Area teams. Thank you, Brody, and thank you everybody in chat.
You got
Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Peace.
Have a good one. All right. That does it. Because we passed midnight. I've been 2 hours and 14 minutes into the game. Woof! All right. With that, I just got to play us out. Did you really want all this EDM at midnight? Probably not, but that's what I'm giving you. Gotta adjust the volume. That's a little bit loud for me right there. This is better. Okay. That does it for the live stream. Appreciate it, everybody. And be safe. A's Giants all weekend. I will see you there on NBC Sports California for pre and post game live. Good night. Thank you so much, everybody.